In this video, I will briefly summarize the CAN cycles. This chart shows the standard CAN cycles and if the various values can be used within the cycle. First, I'll explain these letter addresses and what they represent. The R value is the Z-axis position where the tool retracts to after the hole making operation is complete. It is also the position at which the machine switches from the rapid rate to the feed rate. Any movement in the XY axis with the tool tip at or above the R plane will be at the rapid rate. The Z value is the final depth the tool tip will feed to, or in the case of the G87, the back boring cycle, it is the starting position where the tool tip will feed from as it bores out of the hole. P is the dwell time to pause the feed for with the spindle still running. It is programmed in seconds and is typically used with the G82 drilling cycle so that a spot drill will properly clean up the bottom of the hole. It can also be programmed at the bottom of a hole during a boring cycle. To calculate the dwell time, divide the number of spindle revolutions to dwell for by the RPM and multiply by 60. 1 or 2 revolutions are typically used for this calculation. For the G73 or G83 drilling cycle, the Q represents the amount of material removed with each peck. For the G76 and the G87 boring cycles, the Q represents how much the tool will shift. The shift will occur after the tool has reached the bottom of the hole, stopped spinning, and oriented as it would for a tool change. It then shifts by the Q amount. The tool then rapids out of the hole with the shift preventing the tool tip from scratching the wall of the bore. The orientation axis for the Q is set up in a machine parameter. Alternatively, an I or J can be programmed, where the I is the incremental distance to move the spindle in the x-axis, and the J is the incremental y-axis movement. F is the feed rate for the tool, typically in inches or millimeters per minute. And L or K are the repeat commands. When used on the CAN cycle line, an L0 tells the machine not to perform the hole making operation at the current location. Some controllers use L and some use K, so you will need to check the manual to see what your machine accepts. When used between the CAN cycle line and the G80, it tells the machine how many times to repeat an incremental X and or Y movement. Once a cycle is established, it will be repeated for every line containing an X and or Y coordinate until the G80 code is reached, which ends the cycle. The remaining videos in this playlist will explain each cycle in detail. I hope you find these videos helpful as you learn how to code.